So I was working on my other video, it's a 10 out of 10 by the way, and I realized I need to get something off my chest. This famous anime sucks. Now I'll give you a hint. For some reason, it's a part of the big three with my glorious Naruto and my god Goku. And two, it's in the title. You know, looking back is probably the whole reason you clicked the video, so, you know. That's right, I'm talking about One Piece. One of the worst pieces of fiction ever to be created, and obviously lacking the world building of Naruto, or the bountiful side characters like in Dragon Ball. I mean, the one thing I hear people say it has is the pacing. But there isn't any. Most of the episodes are mostly people looking at each other, then the episode hits you with that to be continued screen. These episodes without the intro or those 5-minute recaps are like 16 minutes, and then taking out the pointless filler, it's even shorter. And don't get me started on the titles. Like imagine getting past the worst intros in all of anime, then in the first 2 seconds, the title spoils the entire episode for you. Like for example, episode 483 titled Fire Fist Ace dies on the battlefield. You wanna know what this guy Ace does? Well, he dies on the battlefield. Once again, I feel like you should have seen that coming. Speaking of death, there's no emotion behind the characters' deaths. Like, after the slog to get to the Going Berry's death, I couldn't stop laughing because how awful it was. I mean, like, they're crying over a boat. A boat that they've been with for like a month at this point. Why does anyone care? And look, I heard everyone out saying I need to watch until episode 1000. My brother in Naruto. You have more faith in my attention span than half of these One Piece characters' ankles have in lifting these big bodies. Speaking of big bodies, let's talk about the character design. All the main cast looks cool. I like Zoro and Luffy's look. But when we get to Numi and Ruben, I don't know, man. I don't know if it's the lighting, but they just look butt ugly. I mean, they're not competing with someone like Hinata or Tsunade, and definitely not Anko. I mean, I know this isn't the top 2 of y'all verse. And Boa Hancock, you 6-headed has the nerve to call herself the prettiest girl with the flashbang disco ball on her head? I almost blinded myself to get this photo. My retina's cooked. Now, I just finished Wano, and I don't know if I'm gonna keep watching because what the hell is Gear 5? This is supposed to compete with Super Saiyan, Ultra Instinct, or even Bar Mode, the best transformation in all of history? This is just Bugs Bunny and an off-white fit. Like, this is the worst transformation for any anime character, especially Luffy. Like, isn't Luffy's whole thing is that he's always serious? They want to make him Jim Carrey so bad. And it's such an ass pull. Like, it's out of nowhere. I know people keep saying to watch Scapeia, but I don't want to watch that filler. Like, they think they so cool because they got Eminem before Fortnite. Hopefully, when One Piece assimilates into the Fortnite pipeline, I can finally see Luffy in some decent animation. Oh, and by the way, the animation is horrible. Especially Wano. Like, you'll never be as good as Demon Slayer. Okay. I can't keep going. I think that's it. I think that's what I'll call it. I hope you didn't click off the video by now and send nukes to my home. But this was an April Fool's video, so you can lower your weapons. You know, if you agreed with everything I said in this video before this part, you know, you're a sheep. You're a sheep. Wake up. What? Oh, wait, you don't understand. Bah, bah. Okay. Play the blooper reel. And speaking of death, there is no emotion behind the I bit my tongue. That's right, I'm talking about One Piece. Yeah, more like worst piece of fiction ever created. I mean, I wish I want... yeah. Like, imagine getting past the worst intro of all of... You know, it's so hard to diss One Piece. This is probably the hardest video I'm ever going to make in my life. Like, imagine getting past the worst intros of all anime. It's all of anime. Why do I do that? What do you... Like, imagine getting past the worst intros of all of anime. It's supposed to be in all... How do I... I wrote that. Why would I do that? Speaking of deaths, it has no emotion behind it. It's like after the slog to get to the boat's death, I couldn't stop laughing because... Oh, I couldn't even say that. Speaking of death, it has no emotion behind it. Like after the slog to get to the boat's death, I couldn't stop laughing because how meaningless. That's Mary. That's Mary coming back to get me. I couldn't stop laughing because how meaningless it was. Less. I couldn't stop laughing because how meaningless. Speaking of deaths, it has no emotion behind it. Like, after the slog in the entire show, just to get to the point where people say it's the saddest scene ever, I couldn't stop laughing at the... And I hit my cup. Wow. That was a good take. It was almost a good take. Speaking of ankles, let's talk about character designs. All the main cast looks cool until we get to a name. I wanted to mess up the names, and I can't. It's ingrained. I mean, look at Kuma. Probably the worst character in the entire show. Why did I do this to myself?